Alright everyone, exciting news. I'm not going to do my normal live stream today. Instead, I'll be going live at around 7:30 p.m. to start the pre-show for a half hour before we start getting the results in for the Michigan primaries, both Democratic and Republican. Here, I'll predict the results. Donald Trump is going to win with about 70-75% of the vote. It's not going to be close. Nikki Haley once again gets defeated. Boring. Nobody gives a fuck. Everyone knows that Donald Trump's already the nominee, and some people just haven't gotten the memo yet. They're too fucking stupid and stubborn. On the Dem side, though, we do have something to look out for, which is the Uncommitted Voters block. Typically, not that many people vote uncommitted in the Michigan primary for the Dems. This year, though, there's a concerted effort by certain groups to make that happen. By the way, if you are in Michigan, I want you to take a Democratic ballot and vote uncommitted. I don't want you to bother taking a GOP ballot. Donald Trump is probably going to get a record number of votes based on polling that we're seeing for Michigan for the general, where he's riding almost 5 points ahead of Biden. He does not have much competition there. Certainly not from Nikki Haley. Grab a Dem ballot if you're capable of doing so. Can't remember if it's an open primary. And vote uncommitted just to turn the knife in a little bit more. A few hundred extra votes, and that makes a decent margin because I expect turnout in that particular primary to be pretty low since Biden is running unopposed. You could end up with a moment that looks a little bit like Nikki Haley's problem in the primary in Nevada. Of course, she lost to none of the above. She lost to none of these candidates by about 30 points. Biden will win. He's not going to lose to uncommitted. It's just a matter of what that margin is. The higher that margin, the more people are going to be talking about that. Nobody's going to be talking about the GOP primary in Michigan. Nobody gives a fuck. No, I don't care about it either because I know that Trump's going to win by a huge margin. But if Biden manages to hemorrhage 10% of the vote or something like that to uncommitted, that would be a stunning rebuke. People will no longer be talking about the never Trumpers. They'll be talking about the never Bideners. And then that'll melt them down. They'll get all hot under the collar. Oh my God. Can Biden really win in Michigan? And then you'll have more calls for him to stand down, even though that's not likely to happen, which will cause chaos. And it'll be amusing, to give me something to talk about, so it's partially self-serving. If you're in the state of Michigan, tell all your friends, take a Dem ballot and vote uncommitted, again, if you are capable of doing so. Again, I can't remember whether it's an open primary state, but I believe it is. I think you can switch your registration on primary day. Don't worry, that doesn't mean that you have to vote Democrat in the general election. You can vote for whoever you want. That's entirely separate. So you're not locking in a vote for Biden by taking a Dem ballot. Some people might get confused by that. It's going to be fun. We'll have some bants. We'll have some rants. Maybe I'll crack open an MRE and I'll eat it live while I sit there and look at the results and just mumble to myself. I'll take super chats as usual and shout everyone out. But there will be no general live stream today. By the way, again, I feel like I'm going to sneeze, and I'm trying desperately not to. Yeah, still getting over that cold. I feel 90% better. I tend to beat the shit out of viruses and bacteria because my body is too toxic for them to survive for very long. Probably why this is the first time I've actually had a cold in 5 years. But tonight, we will be going live with the Michigan results. We'll be focusing more on the Democratic side, though, honestly. I'll switch over. I'll have 2 tabs open that I can switch between, but the Republican race is already over. It was over before Iowa. I already call it. By the way, I want to be the first person I officially call Michigan for Donald Trump. And for Joe Biden, by the way. They will win every state going forward. Just a matter of that uncommitted margin on one end and the margin of victory for Trump on the other. If Trump doesn't clinch 75, people will be talking about him underperforming and shit like that. Oh, there will be the same astroturfing that we saw after South Carolina. Well, this result is actually really bad for Donald Trump. Yeah, but he won, with a record number of votes being cast for him. How is that a problem for Donald Trump? This is Nikki Haley's home state. She should have won it. She lost by 20 points. By the way, it was within the margin of error of my prediction of 22. It was very close. It was almost 21. That's not a loss. I don't understand your logic. I think that TDS has seeped so far into your brain, it's beginning to affect your thalamus at this point. Michigan primary is over before it began, but we're going to go live anyway. Then we see, let's say that the margin of victory for Trump is higher than expected. Let's say he runs at 77 or something. Does Nikki Haley have the grace to stand down before Super Tuesday? Technically, having lied to her supporters saying, well, I'm definitely in through then. But she's losing money very, very quickly. She's spent over $100 million so far in her campaign, and she's won absolutely nothing. I mean, a sane person would have dropped, if I was her, I would have dropped out after New Hampshire. There wouldn't be a race. At the very least, the fact that she's there means we can justify a Super Tuesday live stream just for shits and giggles. We'll go live around 7. The eastern states will start coming in. We're going to be laughing at Nikki Haley. She's going to be the butt of the joke, and at some point that night, when I will go longer for that stream, tonight it'll probably be about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, especially since I want to conserve my voice. On Super Tuesday, we'll go longer. We're going to wait long enough to see if Nikki Haley has the sense to drop out, or whether she says, well, I came in second place in every single Super Tuesday state. Ha ha ha, that's a victory basically, right? I got 3 delegates because some of them are proportional and he didn't clinch a 50-point victory or something like that. Not even going to happen. She's going to lose everything. She's not going to get a single delegate in Super Tuesday. It's not going to matter. Nobody cares. So we'll be mainly paying attention to the Democratic side. I'm thinking, I don't know what the margin will be for the uncommitteds. I know a lot of it is over Gaza, which is that he's angered certain very prominent groups in Michigan that represent voters of Islamic origin. And they're saying vote uncommitted, vote against Joe Biden. Even some members of Congress like Tlaib have called for this openly. They're waging war on their own El Presidente, and I find that very funny. So I agree with Rashida Tlaib, actually. Yeah, if you're in Michigan, absolutely. Take a Dem ballot, vote uncommitted. Just to troll Joe Biden. Let's get that margin as high as we can, clankers. Every little bit counts. Your vote may only be 1 vote, but you can have a multiplier effect if you convince others to do the same thing, and nobody should be staying home in the Michigan primaries. You should have a goddamn block party getting people together just to troll Joe Biden. Just on the economy, he's so shitty that a lot of people would be amenable to that. That's about all. Peace out.